The audience at The Late Show with Stephen Colbert was expecting a typical night of clever jokes and smart banter, but what unfolded shocked everyone in the studio and beyond. J.D. Vance, the Republican senator from Ohio, was invited for what was supposed to be a routine political interview. The stage was set, the lights were bright, and the cameras were rolling when Vance walked out to a mix of cheers and cautious applause. Known for his fiery takes and controversial opinions, Vance had always been a polarizing figure, but few could have predicted the storm that was about to erupt live on national television. Stephen Colbert, with his usual smirk and satirical tone, welcomed Vance, exchanging pleasantries with a sharp edge. But beneath the surface of laughter and small talk, tension simmered, ready to explode. Colbert opened the interview with a couple of light-hearted questions, drawing on Vance's best-selling memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, and his unexpected rise in national politics. But quickly, the conversation turned toward more heated topics. Colbert questioned Vance on his shifting political loyalties, from his early criticisms of Donald Trump to his current support. "Do you think you've changed your views," Colbert asked, "or just adjusted them to win favor?" Vance, clearly caught off guard by the directness, responded curtly, accusing Colbert of playing partisan games. The audience murmured, sensing that this was no ordinary interview. What was supposed to be a measured political exchange had started to veer off the rails, with both men doubling down on their opposing worldviews. The clash intensified as Colbert brought up January 6th and asked Vance whether he believed Trump had incited an insurrection. Vance deflected, launching into a criticism of media bias and democratic hypocrisy. Colbert, refusing to back down, fired back with pointed facts and quotes. Vance accused him of pushing a liberal elite narrative, while Colbert accused Vance of abandoning principles for political ambition. The energy on stage grew electric, the tension almost unbearable. The audience laughed nervously, unsure whether to cheer or remain silent. The interview had taken a hard turn into uncharted territory, becoming less about policy and more about principle and personal attacks. What came next was totally unexpected. Vance interrupted Colbert mid-sentence, raising his voice and pointing a finger. "You sit here every night pretending to speak truth to power," he said, "but you're just another mouthpiece for the establishment you claim to criticize." Gasps echoed in the audience. Colbert leaned back, stunned but visibly fuming. "You don't get to come on my show and insult me like that," he retorted, his voice cold and steady. A producer's voice could be heard in the background, urging, "Calm," but it was too late. Vance stood up abruptly, removing his mic. "If you're not ready for the truth, maybe you shouldn't invite people who speak it," he said before storming off the set. Colbert sat in stunned silence for a moment before muttering, "Well, that was something," as the show quickly cut to commercial. Backstage, chaos unfolded. Staffers scrambled to respond to the incident, phones rang non-stop, and publicists prepared for fallout. Meanwhile, the internet exploded. Within minutes, hashtags like #Colbert vs. Vance and #Late Show Meltdown trended globally. Clips of the fiery exchange went viral, with pundits on all sides weighing in. Some called Vance a hero for standing up to mainstream media. Others branded him unhinged and disrespectful. Media outlets scrambled to obtain full footage and official statements. By morning, the clash had become front-page news. In a single moment, late-night comedy had collided with raw, unfiltered political confrontation, and nothing would ever be quite the same. J.D. Vance issued a statement the following day, defending his actions and doubling down on his criticisms. "The mainstream media has long operated under the illusion of neutrality. I won't play along," he declared in a post that garnered millions of views. Stephen Colbert, meanwhile, addressed the incident briefly on the next episode of his show, trying to inject humor into the fallout. "Well, I guess we learned that some people can dish it out," but can't take it, he joked, to a mix of laughter and applause. But beneath the humor was a clear message. The line between political guest and hostile adversary had been crossed, and there might be no going back. Political analysts dug deeper into the incident, dissecting every second of the exchange. Body language experts noted the increasing aggression in Vance's posture. Media critics debated whether Colbert had provoked the reaction or merely held a guest accountable. The episode ignited broader conversations about the role of political discourse on entertainment platforms. Should comedy shows tackle serious political issues, or had they become battlegrounds for ideological warfare? And what does it say about the state of democracy when two figures from such different worlds can't share a stage without it imploding? These were the questions that now echoed in think pieces, talk shows, and university classrooms. The incident also had political consequences. Vance's approval ratings among core conservative voters surged, especially among those who saw the confrontation as a brave act of defiance. On the flip side, centrist and independent voters viewed the incident less favorably, citing his behavior as overly aggressive and unbecoming of a senator. Some donors expressed concern about his public image, while others saw an opportunity to harness the viral moment for fundraising. Colbert's ratings spiked temporarily as millions tuned in to witness the spectacle. Both men, in their own ways, capitalized on the moment, but the cultural scar left by their clash ran far deeper than a trending topic. As the days passed, more behind-the-scenes details emerged. Anonymous staffers claimed tensions had been rising even before the taping, with disagreements over pre-approved questions and format. Sources close to Vance said he felt ambushed. Colbert's team insisted nothing was out of bounds. Industry insiders began discussing the implications for future political guests on talk shows. Would booking become more cautious? Would boundaries be drawn tighter? Or had this just marked the beginning of a new, more confrontational era of political entertainment? In either case, the old rules had clearly been rewritten. What remains undeniable is that this explosive interview exposed more than just ideological differences. It revealed the raw nerve at the heart of American discourse, a deep division, not just in opinion, but in how truth itself is perceived. J.D. Vance and Stephen Colbert represented two Americas colliding live before millions, not in debate, but in deadlock. And while one walked off set and the other kept the stage, both left an indelible mark on the national conversation. The interview that began as just another late-night booking had evolved into a cultural flashpoint. And for everyone watching, it raised a sobering question. If even a talk show can't hold a civil conversation, where can we?